Hey, everybody. Welcome to Finding Our Way Radio. I welcome you to this show tonight. You know, we don't usually do shows like this on Friday night. Friday night used to be our scandal recap night, but, well, scandal went to bed. So we are absolutely continuing. Tonight we probably have different shows on Friday night. Actually, tonight, myself, Liberated Lola Barber, and my partner in success, Haywood Barber Jr., are on, and we have some exciting people calling into the show. We have some great information that we want to give to you and share with you, and I'm just real excited about it. Haywood and I both have been. Whoa, I'm repeating myself here. I don't know how that's happening. We've been involved in real estate now for quite a couple of years. And, a couple of years ago, people were experiencing some serious, serious challenges. Still are. It's not over. But so many people found themselves in bad mortgages, in mortgages that they could not breathe. They were so stuck up underneath. And, it's been a real challenge for people, and a lot of people have lost their homes. So many people have just really lost hope in that, what they say, the great American dream of home ownership. And so tonight we're going to be talking to two gentlemen who are going to come on and share some information with you. One of them I have known for absolutely years upon years, a very respected gentleman in the community. He is a minister. He's a businessman for years, minister for years, and he's an absolute powerhouse. And he brought this to me. Now, I don't share everything with you all, but he did bring this to me, and I felt that it was imperative that I share it with others. And so I actually think they're both on the line right now. Let me open up their mics. The first I'm going to introduce is Emmanuel Smith, and then Emmanuel is going to introduce his partner to you, Carlos. And like I said, my reason for doing this tonight is because I know there are a lot of people out there who need help. I posted on Facebook to say that I have to, if you want to keep your house free and clear. That's what I said on Facebook. I meant it. It's not a scam. This is not some kind of setup for you. This is real talk. I also posted and said who's having trouble with these mortgages. Well, what these gentlemen are going to do tonight is give you some insight as to how that can happen for you. They're also going to give you some insight as to how this happened to you in the first place, to make sure that you are knowledgeable about the situation you are in with regard to your mortgage, what you can do about it, who you can go to, and most importantly, how they can be of assistance to you. So give me just 1 second. Hold on. All right. Emmanuel Smith, Reverend Smith, are you on the line?
I'm on the line, Lola. Thank you, and hello, everyone.
All right. We have our other partner, Carlos, on the line?
Yes, Lola. This is Carlos.
How are you
can
doing?
You hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Fantastic. And hello to everyone. Glad to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
You guys, we've been talking about this book, and Haywood is here with us, too.
Hey, everyone. How you doing?
Hey.
Hello. How you doing, my brother?
All right.
And so what Emmanuel and Carlos and Haywood and myself have been talking about this for quite a few months now, and they've had some pretty phenomenal experience, these two gentlemen, in being able to help people get from up underneath this burden that they find themselves up underneath with regard to owning homes and being stuck in these really bad over-the-top mortgages, because these houses were absolutely sold for amounts that they don't even have the value of anymore. And so they shared something with Haywood and myself that absolutely blew our minds. And first, I just want you guys, if you can, one by one, to just share with the people who you are and what your experience, is, and so they'll know who's talking to them and what kind of gives you the right to be able to tell them anything about their mortgage and how you can help save them. Whichever one wants to go first, it's up to you.
Emmanuel, okay. You can go first.
Okay, well, my name is Emmanuel Smith. I'm a consultant for the processing firm, and the processing firm is a company that works along with Carlos's outfit, which is RAPI, which is a nonprofit organization. And in doing that, I also do another type program, which is called an administrative procedure program, and in both programs that I offer folk, what we do is, in both of them, is strategically get your homes out of these bad loans, bad mortgages, and we end up in the end, you end up with no mortgage at all, and you retain and remain in your home. You reconvey the deed and all of that, your deed of trust and all of that. It's all legal. We just learned how to do it, and we do it, and I've been doing it now for over a year and a half, and I've been very successful at even using myself as an object lesson. I've reconveyed my own home doing this, and now I have no more mortgage, and this will work with any house, because most of the mortgages, if not all of them, are fraudulent and illegal. And the people that claim that you owe them, more than likely, you don't owe the people that claim you owe them a dime. Your house has been paid for a number of times over, and they've done this with your signature, and you haven't received anything. So it's a very, very interesting process. It's quite a bit of information that you would have to trust us with, and we can make this happen for you if you're interested in getting with one of these programs that I offer, and we can make it happen. It's just that simple. Many people. Okay,
and Manuel, Mr. Smith, let me jump in real quick because I do want to get further into talking about the process, but I want what I really want people to know at this particular point is who they're talking to. I want people to know a little bit about your background. You've been a property owner and a business person for a long time, Carlos. I want you to do the same thing because I want people to feel comfortable that they're talking to someone who has the experience base that can be able to really, help them walk them through this process. So I do want you guys to share specifically about the program, but I want you to tell people a little bit about yourself so that they'll know who is talking to them on the line tonight.
Oh, okay, Lola. I can do that for them very easily. And that is to say that in doing this program, my integrity is very, very important to me. So, as a person that is a pastor, I'm a pastor of a church in Chesapeake, Virginia. And, of course, I own my own home here. I've owned property in Maryland, in Connecticut, as well as here in Virginia. And all of our property have been completely taken care of through my procedures. Now, one of the things that you should know, that in doing so, that I personally take this basically as a ministry, because that's basically what it is to me. I have to work with people that have the same like minds and the thought of being honest with people and letting them know that, we don't play games, especially with people's property and their money. It's very, very important for us to move forward and to be the people that we claim to be. So that said, I don't know how much more I can say in terms of who I am, other than the fact that it's very important to me that I treat people the way the Lord Jesus Christ would want me to, and that's what I'm into.
And I appreciate that. And really, you did exactly what I was hoping that you would do. You shared with the people a little bit about who you are, and it's important to me because I know who you are because I've known you for years. But, I mean, and they know and can trust you through me because so many people listen to this station and they do trust the information that I share with them. So I just wanted you to give them a little taste of what your background is, basically to qualify you for being able to have this conversation. And so, Carlos, can you do the same thing for me? Let people know what your relationship is to the real estate industry and maybe how you came about doing this process and helping people in this way?
Oh, absolutely. And hello to everyone again this evening. I'm Carlos Cato, and I am the Community Reinvestment Act Banking Liaison for Revitalizing American Properties Incorporated. It is a 501c3 tax-exempt charitable housing agency headquartered in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Our core mission is to provide temporary housing, interim housing, emergency housing, and permanent housing for individuals in groups such as disabled veterans, regular military families, women and children, who, for whatever reason, have become victims of domestic abuse, elderly who are disabled and need housing, the indigent, etc. And approximately in 2009, we began to see, as an organization, a lot of people being displaced because of the illegal foreclosures that were taking place at that point in time and still taking place today. And RAPI, that's the acronym for Revitalizing American Properties, Inc., that's RAPI. RAPI developed a program to assist homeowners and commercial property owners as well. So not just residential properties, a way to help facilitate these particular individuals in retaining control over select pieces of real estate that is before them. Our website, just so that the people can have it, to go to the site, is www.R as in Roger, A as in Apple, P as in Paul, I as in India.org. And that's what we have.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Cato. Well, what I wanted to ask, too, is just for people who are listening, because there are a lot of people listening online right now. So for the people who are listening online, give them some idea of how they know whether or not they fall into the category of someone that you can help. So who is the person that you are out there? I hear Emmanuel saying that, it's a ministry for him. So who is it that you're looking to go out and help and give some care to and be able to, hold their hand through this process of finally getting this monkey called a bad mortgage off of their back? Who are you out there looking for?
Right. Anyone who has owned property and or currently owns property from a residential standpoint or a commercial standpoint, RAPI, the nonprofit, can assist them immediately. If they have received pre-foreclosure sale documentation in their respective state, because RAPI is functioning as a nonprofit in all 50 states and U.S. territories, we can work with them to ascertain exactly what is going on if they are being, as Pastor indicated, wrongly foreclosed upon, okay? And just to give you an example, for instance, okay, in the state of Virginia, Virginia is a non-judicial foreclosure state. And then you have states like Ohio, for instance, and Florida. They are what they call judicial foreclosure states. One of the initial analyses that has to be done is making the determination, what state that you're in, what type of foreclosure process that the property owner is involved in. In a judicial state, the foreclosure must go through state a judicial system, okay, for them in terms of the mortgagees or the lenders to foreclose on them. In a non-judicial state, it's usually done by way of what they call advertising the foreclosure process in terms of the mortgagee, the lender, okay, has a instrument like here in the state of Virginia, the deed of trust. That particular instrument is a contract, one of 3 key contracts that a person who has borrowed money executes at closing. And let me just pause right there for a second. Everyone needs to understand that they have power in 3 key documents that they signed at the settlement table, and no one has explained to them the power they have under those 3 contracts. That is the deed, D-E-E-D. That is the promissory note or the IOU, your promise to pay back the $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 that you borrowed to purchase the real estate. And then you have the deed of trust. As I indicated, in Virginia, we call it the deed of trust. That's the security instrument. In some states, like Pennsylvania, Ohio, etc., they call it the mortgage. And then, like in Georgia, they call it the security instrument. But basically, the deed of trust is utilized to cure the note in the event that the property owner defaults on the promissory note, okay? And if they cannot cure the note, they use that deed of trust instrument, which is a third contract. It's a separate contract that is ratified at settlement. They use that deed of trust or the mortgage or security instrument to then initiate foreclosure, if all loss mitigation efforts have failed from that standpoint. But people under those 3 contracts, once you sit down and you have someone educate you, as the pastor indicated, we are in the education business. We have to let the people know exactly where they are, how they got there, in order to prevent them from falling back into that same scenario, and then developing a strategic process in extricating them from that bad scenario.
Carlos, can I ask you a question real quick? I mean, you're giving some awesome information, and I'm loving it. I got people texting me on my phone saying, I need to talk to that man.
Yes.
But I want to know, because I told you about a situation that I knew of where the person had been out of the house for a year. So if somebody's listening to you and they left out of their house last year and they're thinking, oh, it's too late, I can't get any help, or is that true? Does it matter if they're already vacated the premises and they've moved out of the house?
Okay. Let me answer that in 3 ways. Number 1, folks, never leave your property. Never leave your property. That's number 1. You have U.S. senators, you have U.S. Congress people who have gone before the United States Senate and the United States Congress, okay, articulating that exact same message. Due to the fact that the paperwork that these banks, when you originated those 3 contracts that I just articulated upon, okay, most folks need to understand that lending over the last 15 years or so has been predicated upon a concept on Wall Street that Wall Street created called securitization. Securitization of mortgages, securitization of credit card debt, securitization of automobile loans, boat loans, motorcycle loans, etc., securitization of student loans. 99.9% of all student loans have been securitized. Now, securitization in itself is not a bad thing if it is implemented the way that it is designed by law coming out of New York State and Delaware, and in some small instances, New Jersey, because that's the financial capital of the United States, where all the the big deals are cut and what have you. But for under securitization, folks, okay, Once you read the securitization documentation that pertains to your type of structured debt, and that is with the mortgages, that's the student loans, the automobile loans, et cetera, all right? Once you understand that process, you will see that your loans in most instances have already been paid off, okay, years ago, all right? And due to the fraud that has taken place in those securitization instruments, okay, your contract is void. Any contract that you do not know all the terms and conditions, whoever brought the contract to you, you were induced into a scenario that was not fully disclosed. Lies were told. Let me give you an example, a perfect example. Many of you right now are sitting out there with loans that are adjustable rate loans or variable rate loans when it comes to your mortgages. Tonight, when you finish this conversation, we want you to go on Google or go on Bing and just Google the fact LIBOR, L-I-B as in boy, O-R, LIBOR scandal. This is an international scandal where major banks, international banks and banks in America colluded, committed fraud knowingly and fixed the interest rates on your loans to your detriment and lined their pockets with trillions of dollars. Folks, you didn't sign up for that. The United States government, U.S. Department of Justice, you got the Ireland, the Scotland Yard in Great Britain. You got Ireland. You got the Interpol, the International Police. You got the National Police in Germany. Deutsche Bank has been named. USB, banks in Japan, Canada, and yes, here in the United States. They know who these banks are. They know the fraud that has been committed. But until you become educated and know that you have been robbed and how you have been robbed and can stand up and articulate those particular specifics, okay, the bully is going to continue to take your lunch money. And that's what's going on.
Wow. You know what? I mean, and you know, when you all first shared this information with Haywood and I, it knocked our. I mean, we kind of had heard about it before, but you went into such detail. I mean, and gave so much powerful information that it, you know, I told y'all, well, I gotta tell everybody about this because this is absolutely mind blowing. And you know, I want to make sure that people. I got a lot of people on the line. I got a lot of people listening. And I want to make sure that people understand that they need to call in. They need to ask questions. I got a lot of people on the board, and if you have a question, you need to ask it because this right here is the difference between some of you sleeping tonight and not sleeping tonight, finding out that something like this is going to help you. This is the difference between you and your families having somewhere to live this time next month and not having somewhere to live. So if you're somebody who's listening, this is a night that's not about entertainment. You know, I do a lot of calls where I'm making you laugh and we talk, and that's not what this is about. This is about saving people. This is about helping people have peace of mind, and it's about bringing someone to you who is so thoroughly adept at helping you with this situation that I waited to say I don't know a better person qualified to go through this with you and to be able to answer your questions at the level which you deserve them to be answered. Carlos, let me ask you, I think Emmanuel mentioned earlier that there were a couple of different ways to be able to do this. Can you just talk a little bit, not a lot, about the difference between the two ways? If there is a great difference, if I'm not saying that correctly, that's fine too. But is there, do you want to share that with them at all?
Yes. Under RAPI, being a 501c3 tax-exempt charitable housing agency, we are founded partly upon the philosophy of Nelson Rockefeller. Everybody knows the Rockefeller family. Back in the day, they were, the richest family in the world, and they're not doing too shabby right now with, $1 billion in family assets in terms of how they control things through corporate holding companies, family trusts, et cetera, et cetera. But this particular philosophy also is supported by Warren Buffett. And the secret of these rich folks is that, and this is a quote from Nelson Rockefeller, the secret to success is to own nothing but control everything. Let me repeat that. The secret to success is to own nothing but to control everything. See, folks have been miseducated in America. Right now, if you own anything in your name, if you have a car accident, if your child goes to school and runs over somebody with their bicycle or something of that nature, all right, you as the parent or the adult or the guardian, you are going to be sued, and you have the potential of losing all of your particular assets that are in your name, period, okay? However, if you do like the rich folks, you don't have anything in your personal name. You have it in family trusts. You have it in holding corporations, et cetera, et cetera. And when someone, if you are sued, they pull your name up, you have nothing in terms of assets in your name. You don't have a car. They don't have a car in their name, any automobiles, planes, yachts, boats, nothing, okay? Nothing is in their name. Now, why do you want to do that other than to protect yourself from potential lawsuits, but also by way of control over these assets through these holding corporations and regular corporations and trusts and what have you? When you have your business affairs set up in that way, you can take advantage of the U.S. tax policy that is pro-business. It's not pro-individual, it's pro-business. Folks have to understand when it comes to real estate, more than likely within the next 5 years, we are going to see from a tax policy perspective in the United States, the home ownership interest deduction on real estate is going to be gone. The property tax deduction is going to be gone. With that being the case, what is the incentive of owning real estate, all right, as an individual? So then you have to look across the street on the business side, okay, on the trust side, whereby if people recall during the presidential debates, okay, going back here to the Republican candidates, you had Romney, you had Donald Trump, and the others. They were repeatedly in their particular debates sending out the code words to everybody, all right, and their constituents understood what they were saying. They were saying corporations are people. Corporations are people. Many of us were laughing. So what is that dummy talking about? Corporations aren't people, but from a tax perspective in terms of how they are treated, the United States Supreme Court ruled on it, okay, to that particular extent. What folks have to understand, that if the property that they have right now is owned and or controlled by a corporation under a lease with the option to buy agreement or owned outright in deed and title, 100% of the rent or the payment, lease payment or whatever, okay, is tax deductible. The utilities under the name of the business on that property is tax deductible. Getting the yard cut, getting the pool clean, getting the deck clean, getting a fence up around your property, all of those are capital improvements under the corporation. Completely different than how it is handled, those expenses, than an individual. So look at it this way. As an individual right now, if you all have possibly, let's say, a $500,000 house, you might be able to write off before the adjustable gross kicks in and gives you the net figure, you'll be looking at maybe around $10,000 to $15,000. However, if you are over on the other side of the street under the business scenario, okay, doing it like the rich folks, every dollar for dollar that you spent on that property is legitimately a tax write-off. And I repeat, the secret to success in America is to own nothing but control everything. And that is the philosophy that RAPI as the nonprofit is teaching people. It's showing you how you can transition from having stuff in your name, all right, and being taxed and being the possibility of losing it through foreclosure, et cetera, but basically understanding that you need to incorporate a significant financial paradigm shift over to the corporate side of the house and to control assets as a corporate entity, okay, and enjoy the tax policy benefits that abound. And that's what we do.
Wow. I love it. I love to hear you give information. Mike, did you want to say something?
No, and Carlos, thank you for explaining that. A lot of our real estate investment training students that are on the line understand what you're saying, but there's a lot of people that have even the way Lola and I over the years have broke it down about have entities. I haven't even explained it that well. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That is a well thought out, articulate way of explaining how the rich have been doing for over 150 years. Thank you.
Now they keep getting richer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let me ask you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, you guys.
Yeah, and that's all that they're going to do. They're going to continue to get richer. The other side of that is the program that we offer in order for you, if you are in trouble with your home, or if you just tired of paying the mortgage. You don't have to be in trouble to take advantage of our programs, is what we're saying. Okay. That you can just be tired of paying the mortgage knowing that you're being ripped off. I mean, when I looked at my own situation, I was paying somewhere around $3,500 a month in my mortgage, and I knew I was being ripped off. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. But I said this when the program was introduced to me: do I want to own my house straight out within the next 6-7 months, or do I want to continue to pay a mortgage and never finish paying for the house? It's a no-brainer to me. And so I did a program called the administrative procedure, which is one of the things that I do now for people. And what we administratively, which is a law, and most lawyers, I'll tell you this because it's very, very, it's very sickening, really, that most lawyers know nothing about the administrative procedure, because the administrative procedure has been around since the early 1900s. But in the late 50s and the early 60s, what the real estate market has done, along with the insurance companies and banks, what they've done is gone around the country and paid every school, every college or university that teaches the law about administrative procedures. They paid those schools not to teach it in real estate. And when they did that, lawyers never learned the administrative procedure in real estate. They touched on the administrative procedure in every other market, but in real estate, they know nothing about it, and it's really, really pitiful. Now, the bottom line is that the same thing that they use to get you to admit that you owe them, we just reverse it on them. let's say, for instance, somebody writes you and say that you've got a bill that you owe AT&T. And AT&T says that you owe it. They hired this collection agency to collect the money. Well, the collection agency is going to say, if you want to dispute this bill, do it within 30 days. Most of us have gotten letters like that. And if you don't do it within 30 days, it's assumed that you owe the bill. Well, and then they start really coming after you for the money. The administrative procedure is basically the same thing in reverse. You want to send a QWR out, and you're going to say, hey, what is a QWR? It's a qualified written request. The bank is telling you that you owe us this money. Well, you're turning around and saying in your qualified written request, first of all, who are you? Do you hold the note to my mortgage? And if you don't hold the note, then why are you asking me for any money? These are questions that you ought to be asking these people. And then when the note changes hands, the same thing is going to happen with the new bank. But the new bank don't hold your note. Neither do they hold any paper on your mortgage. And I can guarantee you that the day that your mortgage, the day after you went into your closing, I can guarantee you that your mortgage was already sold 4 or 5 times already. Okay, so there's a lot to this, and I don't want to get off on all of it right now because it would be too lengthy. But what I'm saying to you, all of you out there that are listening to this conversation tonight, that with the administrative procedure, the long and short of it is that you can own your house straight out because the banks are not going to have any answers for your qualified written request. They're not going to have any answers for you. They're going to continuously send you your closing package, and that's it. But they are not going to answer any of the questions that you have for them. So bottom line is, yes, go ahead.
No, Emmanuel, I was going to ask you, so in other words, they are hoping that you just follow the leader, so to speak. If they send you a package, you'll fill out the package or you'll just leave the house and won't even ask any questions about who now owns the mortgage or anything like that. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, and that's what most people do. They get scared and they start running, packing up their stuff, and they start running. And you don't have to run because you have more power than you even realize.
Pastor, give them tell them about the recent situation out in California.
Oh, wow.
Tell them about that. That's why it is so important for people to know the rules of engagement because these banks got to put. Well, go on, Pastor. Tell them.
Well. Here's the deal, and everybody that's listening, I want you to know that we're in Virginia, but we do business all over the country. We help people from all over the country. I have clients everywhere. At any rate, there was a young lady in California. She's been in her house now for, I think, since 2005, and she's been living there. Someone drove up to her house the other day with a truck, told her that she had to leave. They were there to repossess the house and so on, and they've gone through the court proceedings with old paperwork. Their paperwork was way back in 2012. And then he called the policeman because she wouldn't let him in, and she got us on the phone. And we just kind of coached her on what to do. And they went on, and the policeman came and told her that they were going to go to jail if they didn't let him do what he needed to do to come in and repossess her house. But she stuck to her guns. And finally, the police had to go outside after she listened to what we were saying to her, ask him to give you a copy of the paperwork. They refused to give her the copy of the paperwork. Finally, they ended up telling her, well, we got the wrong paperwork, so we're going to come back. we're going to come back with the right paperwork, but when we come back, you better be ready to move and get out of here. See, people, these are nothing more than scare tactics to try to get you out of your home. You have the power to do what you need to do to stay in your home. It's up to you. Whether you walk away, if you walk away and abandon your home, they are going to take your home. You cannot abandon it if you want to keep it. So, Carlos, but you can finish it up, Carlos, because you were right there.
Yes. I mean the bottom line, folks. The bottom line, folks, is this. Yes.
Okay, yeah, real quick. What were you going to say?
No. So herein lies where we go again, where if you don't have information, and this is why we want the audience to understand why you gentlemen are doing so well with this program, is because you're providing people with information that they typically or otherwise would not have. So, again, if you, as an audience, if you yourself you already left your house and it's already too late for you, we understand that. But if you have family members,
but it may not be.
Okay, it may not be, but we want you to make sure that you get this information to everyone you know. So you've been listening to that part. We'll address that.
Wait, real quick, though. I got somebody. I don't want the person to lose where they are. I got people who want to ask questions or make comments. So you guys are ready for that? Let me bring somebody in. I got somebody on
absolutely.
area code 770-895. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we can hear you. Please say your name and go ahead and ask your question. Hello? Oh, we lost her. I don't know what happened, but we lost her. She'll call right back in. I had another caller on 301-249 telephone number. Caller, did you have a question?
Yes, I did have a question. Thank you. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, fine.
Okay, Emmanuel, this is Carolyn Thompson. How you doing?
Hi, Carolyn.
I'm good, glad to hear your voice, and it's nice to meet you, Carlos.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, I'm listening with great interest at all the information you guys are sharing, and I wish the whole world was listening right now because I don't know it like you know it, but I know that the banks are scam artists and that we are all just legally being taken. We don't know how not to be because that's the way we've been programmed all our lives. But I heard you say that this program is not just for people who are behind on their mortgage, but it may be for people who just tired of paying the mortgage. I'm just tired of paying the mortgage.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm tired of paying the mortgage because my mortgage has been sold. Like you said, I'm a former real estate agent. I'm not practicing right now, but the thing is, my mortgage has been sold so many times. You know, that's a business. We all know that's a business in itself. Well, my mortgage was recently sold to this company I had dealings with before, Aquan Bank, and they're really scamming. They when they got my mortgage, they came to me and said, "Oh, we got your mortgage now, and you owe this dollar amount from your previous company that we took over from." And I said, "No, that's not right." And I sent them information to show them that I didn't have any outstanding balance with the company that they was formerly servicing my loan.
Wow.
And then they didn't answer that. Then they came up with a new thing and told me that my payment had doubled.
Oh, my God.
My payment had doubled, and I needed to send them this new payment June 1st. And then on the statement where they sent me saying my new payment had doubled, they had two different payment amounts. Had two different payments amount, and I called them up and I told them that they were crazy, right? And that my loan terms, I have my deed, right? My note. I have my note.
Yes.
Okay, so I was telling them my loan amount didn't change until like 2017 or something like that. And so the man who I had on the phone was a foreigner who was, you know, they hire in Philippines or wherever to take the calls, just anybody. Okay, so he told me, no, your loan amount didn't change. Your loan amount still the same thing it was last month. So I said, no, but I have a statement here from your company saying on one part of the statement that my loan amount has increased by double, and then another statement said it increased by more than double.
Yes.
So they're supposed to be sending me a new statement to show me back where I originally am. But really, truly, I don't want to pay them nothing. So if there's a way that I cannot pay this mortgage because it's just how you say, I'm just paying rent like sort of anyway.
Yes. Well, Carolyn, I'm
not paying the principal. I'm just paying rent.
Yes. Well, Carolyn, you and other folks out there who are in the same similar type situation, okay, the financial industry has hoodwinked the American population, as well as, the same game. Now, understand this, folks. Please understand this. This game that Wall Street has put together and is perpetrating, not just here in the United States, but they're running the same game on homeowners and property owners in Canada, in Iceland, in Greenland, in all of Europe, okay, in Russia. They're running this exact same game on these people from the standpoint that they have us believing that your note is still in existence when they know for a fact that it's been paid for. Let me give you all a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I want you all to go online, okay? Get your pencil and paper. If you got on this call tonight with Lola and Haywood and you don't have pencil and paper, shame on you. But I want you all to Google U.S. Treasury order, ORDER, 103-08. I repeat, United States Treasury order 103-08. This particular it was put into law in January 16th, 2009. Okay, this was right before President Obama officially came into office. So this was something that was a remnant of former President George Bush. Now it says here, subject, establishment of a delegation of authority for the Troubled Asset Relief Program and related functions pursuant to the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act of 2008. You all need to be reading the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act of 2008. George Bush put some stuff in place that paid off a whole lot of y'all's mortgages, your student loans, your car loans, etc., and you didn't even know it. Under this particular enactment, under 1 Part A, it says the Troubled Asset Relief Program, in parentheses, TARP, TARP, okay, is set up to purchase and to make and fund commitments to purchase troubled assets from any financial institution. That includes the credit unions also, on such terms and conditions as are determined by the Secretary of Treasury in accordance with this act and the policies and procedures developed and published by the Secretary. Okay? Part B, it says the Troubled Asset Guarantee Program to guarantee troubled assets originated, issued prior to March 14, 2008, including mortgage-backed securities. Folks, that's your mortgages that were pooled into these large securitization pools.
That's right.
These things have already been purchased. They've been paid off with your tax dollars through the United States government, and you still sitting up here making payments. This is what we're talking about. We need to have educational training that Lola and Haywood are setting up for you all. Y'all need to get out of those book clubs, reading that romance stuff, and get down to these educational seminars, okay, and learn what your rights are. You have already been set free, Carolyn, in most instances, but you missed the memo.
I missed the memo. I definitely missed the memo. Okay, but I want the memo now. Please send it, Rush.
Well, y'all need to get what Lola and Haywood get to these educational seminars that they're setting up to educate you all on the rights that you have. Folks, listen, everything is in the documentation. Everything. Yes. Your closing documents that you signed when y'all went in there, sat down at the table, and they said initial, sign, didn't explain anything to you, okay? I would bet right now that 95% of you all who are on this phone right now do not have the executed copies of those documents that you signed. They just gave you blank copies, no signatures, no notary stamps, nothing. Okay? You need to get with your attorney or the closing attorney or the title company where you did the settlement. By law, they are to give you a copy of everything that you signed. You already paid for it in your settlement documents. So don't let them hoodwink you and bully you for some additional money because you already paid for it in your, when you paid them on the HUD sheet, you look for the itemization. You already paid for them. And by RESPA law, RESPA, and depending upon what state you're in, like here in Virginia, they got CRESPA also, that under those settlement protection acts, all right, they are required to retain copies of all that documentation for at least 7 to 10 years, okay? Get your documentation, folks. Get your documentation because what we are finding is in many instances, okay, elements of fraud where these financial institutions are using Photoshop, taking your signature, okay, on documents that you actually signed and putting them on documents and recording them at the county courthouse in the land record office that you didn't sign that got you over the barrel. And you don't even know it because you have never been down to the courthouse to check out what documentation, since you bought the house or property, you have never been down to the courthouse to go through and see exactly what has been recorded. And they know that, and they are exploiting that.
That's
okay, Carlos, let me jump in here real quick. I got a young Manny. Let me jump in here real quick. I'm gonna let y'all go. I made this is 2 hours. We good. I'm gonna jump in here. I got a young lady. I think that was who had called before. If you want, I'm making your mic hot again, making it live on 770-895. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, hi, thank you. I'm sorry I had pushed the wrong button when you came to me. This is Dina. I'm calling from Atlanta, and I'm listening to the information, trying to write notes and listening and kind of putting the pieces together. My first question is, what does this cost? Because when you're talking about doing documentation, looking at records, calling people, getting your copies, and could you repeat the organization that you work for again? But my main question is, what is the cost to have someone, from your organization help an individual with these issues?
Okay.
Well, it depends.
The name.
Let me. Go ahead and give them the name, and then I'll give her the information on how she can figure out for the cost. Y'all can go ahead and give her the name of the organization.
Okay, I myself, again, I'm Carlos Cato, and I am the Community Reinvestment Act Banking Liaison for a nonprofit housing agency entitled Revitalizing American Properties Incorporated, short name RAPI, R-A-P-I. And then Pastor Smith is the corporate head. I'll let him tell you about his organization.
And my company is called The Processing Firm, and I act as a consultant for all of my clients, leading them into understanding what their rights are, how they can retain their homes, and I work along with Carlos's company, RAPI, and what we do together. I'm a master LLC under his company, and we'll probably explain that to you once we really get into how we can do these things if you become interested in doing what you need to do. But for sake of time, that's what basically both of us do. But we do work together, And I also have another program that I work with, which is called the administrative procedure. Now, the program that I work on with Carlos is called the donation program. The other one is the administrative procedure. And there's different costs depending on what program that you want.
That's right, and that's what I wanted to say, Manny. I want to, ma'am, what I'm going to do is give out information for you to send an email, because we're going to set up individual times for you to talk to these gentlemen, and just what he said is the case. It depends on which one of the processes that you use, which depends on how much it costs. But I tell you this, what I know for sure is that no matter what it is, and it's not mind-blowing, it's not like that. Trust me, it's not like that at all. Else I wouldn't even present it, because I would know a lot of people couldn't even take advantage of it. But it's so minimal in comparison to what you're able to receive in the way of education and basically setting yourself free. So I'm going to give my email address out that I want you all to send inquiries to before we get off the phone, okay? Did you have another question?
Yeah, and then my other thank you. With that thing, you made me lose it. Hold on. My other question was, okay, how much was it? And then, no, I lost it because I was trying to hear what you were saying about the emails.
Right.
Well, and don't worry about it. We'll be on here for a couple. If you remember what it is, I'll just press your thing again, and I'll just let you back into the call. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Or you can email me, and you can get back into it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. Lola, real quick. Many of you on YouTube has a wealth of information dealing with a lot of this securitization fraud as it pertains to the mortgages, as it pertains to credit card securitization fraud, that many of you have been defrauded on your credit card and credit card payments, on your student loans. Many of you may not be cognizant of the fact that, under the George Bush administration, they changed the law that prevented student loans from being able to be written off under the U.S. Bankruptcy Code. Folks, that was by design. February of this year, student loan debt has now exceeded the $1 trillion marker. First time ever in United States history. And folks, until you understand structured debt that is created on Wall Street under the banner of securitization, you have to be educated, folks. You have to understand the rules of engagement. Right now, you got an alligator on your heels, nibbling at your heels, or a weight on your back that you want to get rid of. But until you understand how the weight got there and how they're using it to strangle you and eat you up, okay, under this vehicle of securitization, fraudulent mortgage-backed securitization, fraudulent automobile securitization, fraudulent student loan securitization, until you understand the rules of engagement, okay? We don't want you to jump out here and just get something done so you can feel better. We want to educate you, okay? Because if you don't understand how it happened, you're going to step right back into that same cucamonga juice 2-3 weeks later or months later. And that's not what we want. We want you to be a knowledgeable consumer from this point going forward. And that's our primary goal.
That's awesome. I mean, y'all have given some unbelievably powerful information. I hope people are feeling a weight being lifted. A lot of times when we listen to this kind of stuff and we hear it, sometimes we even get tight. We feel our neck getting tight. We feel ourselves getting a little bit upset because we start thinking, this can't be real, and if it is real, how come I don't know about it? And if I know about it, how am I going to get a chance to be a part of it? Well, we're going to make sure that you get every single one of those questions answered, because I'm going to give out the email address for you to email inquiries so we can set up telephone appointments for you to talk to these gentlemen. Before we end the call, I promise you, I will give that out to you. Carlos, I do have another question for you and Emmanuel.
Okay, well, let me add this. Let me add this for the people, okay? This is a real life. It is unfolding before us right now, a David and Goliath situation. you have the country of Iceland, okay, little island, not even the size of the state of Connecticut, okay, who has thrown off the yoke of financial oppression that was created by United States Wall Street that caused the country of Iceland, a sovereign nation, their economy to collapse, not once, not twice, 3 times since 2006. Finally, the people rose up in 2012. They said we don't believe anymore in too big to fail in regards to these banks. They said to their congressional and representatives, we are not taking this anymore. They took over the banks in Iceland. They got rid of the prime minister, who was comparable to the president. That rascal has been indicted, and they have taken over the banks. They have put a number of banking officials in jail for the fraud and corrupt activities that they perpetrated on the people of Iceland. And they have forgiven over 50% of all mortgages, car loans, et cetera, in that country right now. And they're looking at the other 50% in terms of doing away with it. And their economy is rebounding at great lengths. For everybody else in Europe and what have you, is still going down, talking about the double bounce. Folks, you got to look around the world at how other people are handling their business. Here we are in America, supposed to be the leaders of the free world and this, that, and the other, and I'm going to tell you, we're a bunch of sissies, okay? I'm sorry, you're a bunch of sissies. Let me read you this quote, okay, from Josiah Stamp, a worldwide economist. This gentleman says, but if you want to continue to be slaves of the banks and pay the cost of your own slavery, then let the bankers continue to create money and control credit. Folks, that's where we are. That's what this whole collapse has been about, financial collapse worldwide since 2006. We have to wake up and smell the coffee.
Man, I mean, Edward and I are just sitting here listening to you saying, you telling the truth and you ripping the Band-Aid off, and this is, I'm sure I can claim it, that this is going to be one of the most powerful shows that we've had to date. I'm sure more to follow. And as Carlos and Emmanuel said, we will be setting up information sessions, educational sessions around the country to address these issues and to make sure people get the information. But what I do want to do really quickly is go to the young lady who was asking the questions before, because her question actually was, what is your success rate, and can the debt ever come back on the person, which is a lot of people, we're concerned about, okay, if I do this, you don't want to take a sigh of relief and then feel like, oh, okay, I'm done with this, and then they come back after you later on. So she wants to know, will this come back on her? Or is this something that's lasting? And also, what is your success rate?
Right. Okay. Let me start off with this, Emmanuel. Let me answer that. Let me answer that in this manner. Okay. For those people who have filed bankruptcy in the past, all right, or who understand the United States bankruptcy process, once you go to court and the bankruptcy court rules that your debt has been discharged, okay, dismissed. That means that an official notification goes out, to all the people who claim to have been creditors. This is, if they've dismissed secured debt, if they dismiss some unsecured debt, once the bankruptcy court dismisses it, it's gone. Okay, but what happens? This is what people, again, it comes back to education. These banks, these financial institutions, they're going to sell that debt that was released, okay, to third-party debt collectors who are buying it for pennies on the dollar. These folks start harassing you, saying, well, listen, we know that, you used to have this debt with, XYZ Bank, but we've bought it now. We are aware that, you went through bankruptcy court, but I tell you what, we'll make a deal with you. Let's just say you owe $5,000, okay? If you just pay $200, we'll just go on and wipe the slate clean and and you'll never hear from us again. And they're hoping and praying that you just pay $1, because as soon as you pay $1 on anything that has already been dismissed, the whole debt comes back on your behind. Even if it was discharged and dismissed by the bankruptcy court, you open the gate back open. See, and they prey on you not knowing the law. So once you sit down with us and you become a financial ninja on what your financial rights are with your student loan, with your credit card loans, with your automobile loans, with your mortgages and everything, you are going to have a 100% success rate. Let me give you another example, Lola and Hayward. You got millions of people every year losing their automobiles, okay, by the repo man, by the repo man. And this is how it goes down, because people don't understand their rights under the note that they signed to buy the automobile or the boat or the motorcycle and what have you, okay? You go into a dealership. You purchase an automobile, okay, and you go sit down with the finance guy or finance woman, and then they take all your information, and then they tell you, well, go on back out to the showroom, let me make some calls, and get everything finalized. Well, what the finance guy at the dealership is doing, they're not going to carry the note on your vehicle, okay? You may come in there with a line of credit from your bank, what have you, all right, or your credit union, all right? They're going to process that loan and sell it out there on Wall Street. It's already being sold into an asset-backed securitization, an ABS, when it comes to the automobiles and comes to the credit cards and comes to the student loans. Those are sold into a securitization process called ABSs, okay? And then they're recollateralized. But I just want to keep it simple right now for the telephone folks out here, okay? So that loan is sold into up on Wall Street, all right? But the dealership, the local dealership where you purchase the vehicle, they will continue to function as the loan servicer. They're going to send out the invoices to the person who purchased the car and financed it, that you owe X number of dollars, and what happens, let's just say, you have a $500 car note, all right? So, they send out the invoices, you send the money, to them. They take off, out of that $500, they may take off $50, for servicing the loan, and then send the $450 balance up on Wall Street to who really owns the note, okay, under the securitization process, all right? So it's the entity on Wall Street that is the true owner of the note. Now, what happens is that when the people get behind on their car payment, it's not the people up on Wall Street that's calling the repo man with the proper documentation that, hey, look, we own the note. Here is the documentation that shows that we own the note for, Mrs. Smith's SUV, over here, her Mercedes, over here. This is all the documentation, et cetera, et cetera. The car dealership where you bought the vehicle, okay, they're the ones that's calling the repo man illegally, saying to the repo man that the dealership is the owner of the note, and we want you to go get our car. Folks, that is theft. That is grand theft auto. And the people don't even know that they are being robbed.
Absolutely. And if you don't know no better, then you'll follow this procedure and fall right in place, and you don't even know that they just stole your car with your keys.
Not only with your keys, in a lot of cases, people give them their keys.
Absolutely.
Because they don't have any education. They have no education on what is actually taking place. A lot of people believe that the repo man has a right to come and take your car. The repo man has no rights to take your car. They've been doing it so long that people think it's just par for the course. And it really isn't. Not to mention that when the first payment is missed, not only on your car but also in your house, they have insurance on all of these loans, every one of them. And if your insurance, if you don't make your payment within a 24-hour span of time, if you're 24 hours and 1 minute late, do you realize that your whole car and your whole house is automatically paid off? The person that holds the note, the insurance company pays them within 24 hours. That if you're late, if you're 1 day late with your mortgage or your car note, the owner of that note is the one that's making out like a fat rat. So the owner of your note will never repo your car, or they will never come to foreclose on your home.
If you know what to do.
Why? Because they've already been paid for it within 24 hours time.
Right.
And I want to say, if you know what to do, because I know a lot of people are listening. They're saying, yeah, they came and got my car. Okay. So they will foreclose on it if you don't know how to proceed and you don't know how to protect yourself. Right, and but they really are doing it. What these gentlemen are saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Haywood is saying that they're really double dipping and they're really getting paid 2 times. So that's why
they getting paid 3 times and 4 times and 5 times.
Even more
than
2.
And that's why Wall Street is doing so well. Meanwhile, Main Street is not doing well at all. Right.
Exactly. Well, let me add something to that, Haywood, and that's a very insightful remark there. But let me say this first to everybody, okay? Mr. Smith nor myself are attorneys or tax professionals, from that particular standpoint. The discussion this evening is entirely for educational purposes, to you all. We want to stimulate your mind and get you all to get up off the sofa and start educating yourselves, going out to these various sites, coming to these educational seminars so you know what your particular rights are and what options. Because you have options. You have a whole lot of options, but you simply have not been educated on those options and how to use them individually or in tandem, okay, to get the results that you deserve. And any time you are dealing with a bully, okay, and the financial institutions out here, that's what they are. They are bullies. They want to take your lunch money every day. And they got us so conditioned right now, okay, that when they get off the school bus, all right, we run up to them and say, here's my lunch money for today, and don't even question it. Okay? You have to deal with these financial institutions just like you would a bully on the schoolyard, okay? It's time to take action, but you got to know how to facilitate that action so that you will be successful individually and or in group fashion. 2 things.
Man, I tell you, we sitting in here, we want to give you high fives every 5 minutes, every time you say something, because this is what it's all about. Finding Our Way Radio is all about helping people find resources that empower them and help to save them in some way. And so that's why we're bringing this to you. I cannot wait till we start these information sessions, but I did want to get out something real quick.
Yes.
The young lady who called in earlier, she's texting me because she asked me a part of her question was about success rate. So I guess she's trying to say, is there a chance that it won't work for you? Is this something for certain people? Will it not work for them?
If she still owns her property, this will work for her. As long as, now, let me give you an example that in terms of why we ask for the documentation, and we've said everything is in the documentation, okay? When we go through the research and analysis portion or some folks would say in the financial industry, the underwriting process, we are finding that third parties, unbeknownst to the homeowner, have added their names on your deed down at the courthouse, and you don't even know about it. They've already put in for loans, getting loans against your property, and it's going to a third-party address. You don't even know about it. Just like the credit reporting agencies, tell all of us, you should check your credit scores and your credit rating every 6 months. Folks, you have a house, multi-thousands of dollars. You have not checked on the status of that house since you bought it 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You haven't even been down in most instances to the asset that is the greatest value that you will ever invest in. You haven't even done your due diligence. So what happens under our procedures is that if you have been hoodwinked, if you have been robbed, if you, for whatever reason, when we do our analysis, some people went out here, Lola and Haywood, they got these liar loans or these ninja loans, stated income. They went down to a buddy of theirs and they had a good credit score, but they weren't making any real money. So they stated they inflated their income, $200 or $20,000, $50,000, $60,000, so that they could qualify for the loan to purchase their dream house. Well, folks, I got some bad news for you. I mean, this is probably the only bad news I'm bringing tonight, is that the FBI and the Department of Treasury and Department of Justice, they are investigating every stated loan since year 2000. They are looking to see, based upon your tax returns, because they know what you made, what you claimed on your tax filing, for each year. And if your income on your tax filing doesn't match what you put on your 1031, your loan application that you signed at the settlement table and didn't review, because I'm gonna tell you, I got clients right now who said that when we sat down and did the analysis, they said, Mr. Cato, that's not what I told them. I only told them I made $60,000. I didn't tell them I made $120,000. Yes, folks, and because you didn't do your due diligence at the settlement table and verified all that data, your neck is on the line. You're behind getting ready to get investigated by the FBI and the Treasury Department and others for mortgage fraud. That's what's going on right now.
Whew, I'm telling you, I just want to say thank you 100 times. Thank you 100 times for the information that you all are sharing tonight. I am going to go ahead and give out an email address that you all can send any inquiries to, and it is keepingmykeys@gmail.com. Keeping, KEEPING, my keys, KEYS@gmail.com. And we will get back with you, speak to you individually, find out, what your situation is, how we can start in the process of helping you to make this what I know is a nightmare for so many people. My mom talks all the time about how much it is such a travesty and that so many people should be under the jail for what has been done to so many folks. I love the way you said it, Carolyn Thompson, by the way, the lady that calls my mother. So I love the way she said it, that really, because the everything is so pumped up and the prices are so inflated, you ain't never going to be paying on the principal, so you really just paying rent. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Yeah, you really just, that was perfect. That was so perfect to say it like that. That's the real deal.
Really?
What'd you say, Emmanuel?
I said that's really the truth, what she's saying.
Yeah, it really is.
Absolutely.
Go to send your email inquiries to keepingmykeys@gmail.com, and we will get back with you expeditiously, because sincerely, I know the heart of both of these gentlemen, and I know you guys hear us enough, Haywood and I, those, as you said, who have been exposed to us through the real estate investment training industry, through network marketing. You see me say it all the time on Facebook and various other social media, and you see Haywood say it, and I say it each and every week. And so does Haywood on our shows. We are all about helping people. That's our mission, that's our goal, that's our passion. This is about helping people, and that's what it's all about. So if you listen to this, know that that's where this comes from. Know that that's where this is born from, absolutely helping people. Hey,
and Lola,
you want to add something?
If I could just throw this out there to the people also, please, this weekend, they need to go out to the OCC. .gov. That's the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, but in short, it's www.occ.gov. You need to read everything that site has out there on the independent foreclosure review. Last month, the OCC and the Federal Reserve System, the Federal Reserve Board, they came out with a new 13-step minimum foreclosure review process that every bank, every lender, including credit unions, must follow before they initiate a foreclosure against you. And if you're already in pre-foreclosure, they got to stop and make sure that they have complied with all 13 of those steps before they go through. Now, folks, understand this. This should be on every television station. This should be on every radio station. Tom Joyner, Steve Harvey, et cetera, okay? And educating you that these 13 steps are going to save your house if you know how to use them and when to use them, okay?
Right.
But they have kept it quiet because they don't want you to know the power you have in your hands right now. No, I take that back. Not right now. Right now.
Right now. That's right. They do not want.
Sir.
And these guys are so scared that they will alienate their sponsors and they'll alienate. Well, you know what I'm saying, Carlos.
Yes.
And that's exactly why. And that's why. When you guys come on and you talk the truth about what's real, and you are absolutely correct in saying that, the due diligence is on you. You know what I'm saying? We're bringing you information, and if you want our help, we will help you if you contact us through the email that Lola gave. But, they got to understand that absolutely the people that they normally will follow will not take this information because they are making sure that their pockets are being taken care of.
Yes.
That's just the bottom line.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, again, everybody, send you any. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Carlos.
No, I was just saying. So that's the gist of what we're trying to bring to the table. Some clarity, some understanding, some education, and let the people do their own decision making and take whatever actions after they have been educated, okay, as to what is best for them, because everybody's case is different. I mean, you have millions, folks, literally millions of elderly senior citizens who are being foreclosed upon right now under the reverse mortgage scandal that's going on. AARP has filed numerous lawsuits against the big banks. Matter of fact, the majority of the big banks no longer even offer reverse mortgages because of all the mortgage fraud that has taken place. But AARP is suing them. You got a number of other organizations that are suing them. You got elderly people right now who got these reverse mortgages, never supposed to make a payment on these houses ever. The Lord calls them home after they have passed. Whoever they left the property to, under the reverse mortgage as their heirs or family members, whoever they left it to, how those loans are structured. Those individuals have the option within 1 year after their family member, the senior citizen who got the reverse mortgage, the surviving family members have up to a year to make a decision if they want to keep the property. And there's a set procedure laid out as to how that is facilitated, or if they want the bank to just go on and take the property and then pay them, the heirs, the balance on the equity that's in the property that was under the reverse mortgages. Well, these banks have just been, gangstering people and taking these elderly people's properties who had these reverse mortgages because they did not read the fine print. Okay, back on page 15.
I have a case like that right now.
Hello?
I have a case like that I'm dealing with right now.
Yes. So folks, you know, like the one young lady asked the question early on, who can this program help? I mean, that's everybody from the elderly, okay, all the way down to the first-time home buyers right now. And a lot of you who are first-time home buyers out there, or you have friends and family members who are about to buy their first house, folks, I say one word, Ibanez. I as in India, B as in boy, A as in apple, N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, Z as in Zulu. Ibanez. That is the case, okay, Supreme Court case out of the state of Massachusetts. Everybody needs to read it. This case is having tidal wave effects going across the United States because this is what's getting ready to disrupt everybody. In this Ibanez case, out of Massachusetts, Supreme Court, U.S. Bank illegally foreclosed on two families. Okay, make a long story short, it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court reversed the lower court rulings, saying that the original owners, okay, were robbed of their houses by the U.S. Bank. And or the U.S. Bank to give these people their houses back free. Did y'all hear that word? F-R-E-E. Free and clear. And the people, first-time home buyers who bought these houses, okay, they were kicked to the curb, all right, kicked in the street. So now those first-time home buyers who thought they had purchased a nice low foreclosure house at a good price, they out there with no house whatsoever because U.S. Bank stole the house from the original owners, which made the sale to them, okay, on the flip side, illegal.
Wow.
This is what's happening across the United States. You know, we don't want you to believe anything we're saying, folks. I'll just put it out there like that. We just want you to go check out these sources that we're putting before you. Read. You will see what the real deal is. But you got to get up off the sofa and take care of your business.
And closer than that, I was going to say closer to that, I have a next-door neighbor, was out of his house. The bank scared him. He ran. For a year and a half, he was gone. To make a long story short, I called him up one day, and I said, do you still have your name on your house? And he says, I don't know, but I just got something from the city that said that I owe some money. I said, well, go down to the land records department and see if your name is still on your house. He went down there. The next day he called me back, and he said, yes. He said, it is still on my house. I told him to move back in his house right away. This was about 10 months ago. Today he owns his house free and clear. My next-door neighbor. So can you get your house after you've been put out of it? Yes, you can. But it just depends on how quickly you move.
Right, and what extenuating circumstances, you know, in terms of garbage that, you know, you're bringing to the table, such as, you know, your hands as the homeowner must be clean. You could not have been caught in any stated loans where you lied about your income and this, that, and the other, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As long as you have done everything straight up and legitimate, okay, you know, once you have lost the house, even through foreclosure, you know, you still have recourse. It's just going to take a little longer, but you got rights. You know, I mean, it's like this, folks. They had on Dateline back here in November of last year, December of last year, a story about a young man out in Boston who he was in college his freshman year at Boston U, all right, and someone stole his British MG sports car off of campus, okay, silver, 2-seater, sports car. All right, that year, 2012, now this is like 25 years later, this man was on vacation walking, he had just come out of Starbucks, I think that's how the story goes, drinking his coffee, saw a car parked across the street, said, man, that looks like my old car. Walked over there, he kept the VIN number in his wallet. Sure enough, he pulled out the VIN number, looked at the VIN number, it was his car. He called the police. The police came out. The police called the police department in Boston, verified the police report that it was his car. They put his car on a flatbed immediately, took it down to the police station, impounded it. That man is driving his car today. After 20-something years later, when somebody steals something that you own and they stole it, whether it's your car, your house, your bicycle, your computer system, that is your asset. You get it back. And that's what we're trying to teach you. You have rights.
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Cato and Reverend Smith, for being on this call tonight and sharing this information. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we dream that we can learn about, and truly, it shows that, it's all about how much you stay plugged in and really about who you know, because things are out here happening. Folks out here getting their homes free and clear. They sleeping at night. They ain't living in their cousin's basement because they had to run out their house. They're keeping their houses. And if you were one of those people who was trying to figure out how you were going to make it happen, how was I going to stay in this house, why do I have to, I don't want to uproot my children and take them out of school. Well, email me at keepingmykeys@gmail.com, keepingmykeys@gmail.com, and we're going to get you some assistance. We're going to get you some help. We're going to connect you up with these gentlemen, and we are going to make those mortgage worries go bye-bye. You guys, I'm going to get ready to close out the call. Hey, do you want to share something in conclusion?
Only that, and again, Mr. Smith and Carlos, thank you so much. And I know you guys formally, so I could say, Manny and Carlos, thank you so much for coming on the call, because we really want to inform people. And this is just an example what you guys brought to today. And I know that we're going to be talking about this call for probably months and even years to come, because this is what it's about. Helping individuals, and that's what we want to do. So thank you once again. I just want to shout out and say thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right, again, it's keepingmykeys@gmail.com, and like both Carlos and Emmanuel said, the key is to move with some purpose. So be about emailing quickly so we can get you connected to them quickly, so we can get your questions answered and get you in process of resolving these issues so you can own your home as well, free and clear. You guys, this has been Finding Our Way Radio, where we are truly dedicated and passionate to helping each and every individual out there who wants success in their life in any way possible to find their way. We thank you once again for being on the call. Pass this on to everyone you know. Follow us on Blog Talk Radio. Hit me up on Facebook, Liberated Lola Barber on Facebook and Haywood Barber on Facebook. We want you to say what you think about this call. We want you to place comments on Blog Talk Radio, our Blog Talk Radio page, as well as our Facebook pages, and we want you to share this with your mother, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your uncle, your aunt, your friend, and even the people you don't like, because we don't wish nobody to be out there on the street. So share this information. Again, that email is keepingmykeys@gmail.com, and you guys, just thank you again. That was so powerful. I really appreciate you.
Using the law.
You're welcome. Right. And good luck.
All right, you guys, good night. We're going to be talking. Thank you so much. And like Haywood said, using the law itself to help you out of this situation and out of this problem. So you guys have a good night. Again, thank you for being on. This is your girl, Liberated Lola Barber. Please visit us again on Monday for our next beginning session of the Science of Getting Rich Mastermind, 30-Day Mastermind to Lasting Riches. Will be on at 7:30 this time around on Monday, this coming Monday, June the 10th. Have a great night. Peace and blessings, you guys. And you don't have to be stuck. You just have to be empowered. Take care and take charge. Good night.
Good night.
Night.